Hey everybody, welcome back. This lesson discusses the basics of drug administration, including important vocabulary, the sources and uses of drugs, the importance of drug standards, and the uses of drug references. This overview should provide you with the foundation to understand drug administration. First, let's go over some of the vocabulary that is important to the understanding of drug administration. There are 9 basic terms that you'll need to understand: drug, pharmacology, pharmacodynamics, pharmacokinetics, therapeutic effect, side effect, anatomy, physiology, and pathology. A drug is a chemical substance used in the diagnosis, treatment, cure, or prevention of a disease, and pharmacology is the study of drugs, their properties, and effects. Picture a massive library filled with hundreds of books. Each book contains all of the information pertaining to a particular drug. For example, when discussing acetaminophen, pharmacology provides information about the drug's therapeutic class, the indications for using the drug, and potential drug interactions. The pharmacological information also includes both the pharmacodynamics and the pharmacokinetics of the drug. Pharmacodynamics refers to the mechanisms of drug action. Another way of saying it is pharmacodynamics deals with how a drug produces an effect in the body. Pharmacokinetics refers to the movement of drugs within the body, including processes like absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. It is important to note that many things can impact the pharmacokinetics of a drug, including the mental state of the patient. For example, if the patient is exhibiting signs of stress, changes in blood flow rate and vascular function can alter drug distribution. Referring back to our example medication, the pharmacodynamics, or how acetaminophen produces an effect in the body, is that it induces pain relief or analgesia in both the brain and spinal cord, partially by inhibiting the synthesis of pain-causing agents. The pharmacokinetics of acetaminophen explores how it is absorbed, distributed, metabolized, and excreted. Acetaminophen is absorbed from the gastrointestinal tract, it is distributed throughout most body tissues, metabolized in the liver, and excreted from the body in urine. When discussing drugs, we discuss both their therapeutic effects and their side effects. The therapeutic effects of drugs are the intended beneficial outcomes of administration. Going back to acetaminophen, the intended therapeutic effect is pain relief and fever reduction. Side effects are any unintended effects of a medication, which can be either harmless or harmful. With acetaminophen, potential side effects are allergic reactions like a skin rash, or more harmful ones such as liver damage. The next set of terms deal with the study of the body and its functions. Anatomy is the study of the structures of the body, which is similar to understanding a diagram for a new coffee maker. In order to understand how the coffee maker works, you have to know what the parts are. In order to understand how the body works, you have to know what the parts are. Physiology is the study of how the body functions, which would be like the instructions for the coffee maker. And pathology is the study of disease and its effect on the body. This is like the troubleshooting section of the manual for when things go wrong with the coffee maker. Again, in order to understand how the body works, you have to not only know what the parts are, but also how they function and what it looks like when the parts aren't functioning properly. Now, let's discuss where drugs are sourced and how they are used. Knowledge of drug sources is essential, for example, in allergy management. If a patient has a shellfish allergy, certain iodine-based contrast agents may trigger an allergic reaction. The drug's use, whether diagnostic, curative, or otherwise, also dictates its choice and administration. Drugs come from 4 sources: plants, animals, minerals, and synthetic materials. Drugs that are derived from plants include digitalis, a cardiac glycoside used to treat congestive heart failure. Digitalis is made from a wildflower called purple foxglove. Drugs from the poppy plant are morphine and codeine, which are powerful analgesics. Drugs that are derived from animals are prepared by extracting substances, such as hormones, from animal tissues and organs. For example, non-synthetic insulin is extracted from the pancreases of cattle and pigs, and heparin, which is used to reduce the formation of blood clots, is taken from the intestinal lining of pigs. Some drugs are mineral-based, which means they're derived from rocks and crystals. Iron, calcium, magnesium hydroxide, which is milk of magnesia, and magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salts, are all examples of minerals used in drug therapies. Finally, many drugs are made in the laboratory through chemical processes. These are called synthetic drugs. Synthetic drugs are generally less expensive than non-synthetic drugs, as they can be produced in mass volumes. Sulfonamide drugs, such as Bactrim and Septra, which are frequently used to treat urinary tract infections, are examples of synthetic drugs. Much of the time, drugs are synthetic, as synthetic drugs are more cost-effective and more easily quality controlled. We now know the 4 sources of drugs, so let's discuss the 6 uses of drugs. The 6 uses are prevention, health maintenance, diagnostic, palliative, treatment, and cure. Prevention drugs can be used to both prevent illness as well as to prevent pregnancy. Vaccines that inoculate the body against viral microorganisms are an example of prevention drugs. Contraceptives, which prevent pregnancy, are another example of prevention drugs. Health maintenance helps patients maintain or enhance their current levels of health. Vitamins help to keep the body healthy and maintain or enhance levels of patient health. Diagnostic drugs are chemical substances used to diagnose or monitor a patient's condition. For example, radiopaque dyes used in radiography and fluoroscopy are considered diagnostic drugs, as they aid in evaluating various functions of the body. Patients should be asked if they have allergies to iodine or radiopaque dyes. Palliative drugs are used to improve quality of life, but not cure or treat disease. Most often, palliative drugs are used in cases of terminal illness, such as cancer. For example, when a patient is released into hospice care, they are frequently administered narcotic analgesics like morphine, which don't slow the spread of the cancer, but offer the patient relief from the pain associated with the disease. Drugs used for treatment simply relieve symptoms, while the body's natural immune response does its work. For example, acetaminophen is used to treat fever and pain while the body fights off the pathogen causing the infection. Or Benadryl diphenhydramine can be used to treat symptoms of an allergic reaction. Finally, drugs used for cures eliminate disease-causing microorganisms. Antibiotics target infection-causing bacteria within the body and seek to eliminate them. As you can see, drugs differ not only in source and use, but also in strength, quality, and purity, depending on how they are manufactured. Drug standards have been enacted in order to help control for these differences. Drug standards serve as stringent guidelines to ascertain the quality, efficacy, and safety of medications. Regulatory agencies such as the FDA or WHO set these standards based on rigorous scientific testing. They're crucial for public safety and effective medical treatment. The opioid crisis serves as a cautionary tale. Lack of stringent standards in prescribing and monitoring led to widespread misuse and life-threatening side effects. We will be discussing drug legislation in more detail in a different lesson. Pharmacology is a wide field and is ever-changing. To help healthcare workers stay abreast of new developments, several reference books and websites provide useful information about drugs on the market. These references can help you understand why and how a particular drug is administered. Some of the recommended websites are rxlist.com, fda.gov, safemedication.com. A common reference book is the Physician's Desk Reference, or PDR. The PDR is available in many healthcare facilities and provides information like the description, clinical pharmacology, mechanism of action, indication, contraindications, warnings, precautions, adverse reactions, overdosage, dosage, and administration of many drugs. Other useful tools are drug cards, which can be purchased both from college bookstores and online. These are quick reference tools containing vital drug information. Information drug cards should include is drug name, both generic and brand, uses of the drug, route of administration, dosage range and usual adult dose, side effects and adverse reactions, action or how the drug interacts with the organs or systems it is supposed to affect, contraindications, drug classification, forms in which drug is available, patient teaching and safety, including signs of toxicity, nursing consideration, common unlabeled or off-label uses, antidotes. Drug cards are an extremely useful tool, as it can be difficult to keep all of this information in your mind. Imagine a long-term care facility. A resident is prescribed nitroglycerin or NTG for an angina. You need to be aware of nursing implications, which are any special instructions to follow prior to giving the NTG, which would be to check the patient's blood pressure, as you would need to hold administration if the blood pressure is below a certain reading. A quick glance at a drug card can confirm appropriate dosage, contraindications, and nursing implications. In summary, drug administration is a complex topic. Drugs are chemical substances used in the diagnosis, treatment, cure, or prevention of a disease, as well as palliative care and health maintenance. There are drug standards in place to help control for the many different drugs on the market, and there are drug references that healthcare workers can turn to refresh their knowledge. Drugs come from 4 sources: plants, animals, minerals, and synthetic materials. Pharmacology is the study of drugs, their properties and effects. Pharmacodynamics refers to the mechanisms of drug actions or how a drug produces an effect in the body.